Hey guys, it's Tom from Touchscreen here. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about an issue. It's not really much of an issue in the game. It's a talking point in the game, and it's sort of come to the forefront in the last couple of years. It's the forward pass. Now, up in this video, I do want to show a couple of clips about forward passes that might help some people's understanding of what an actual forward pass is, contrary to what some people may have told you. But the reason why I want to talk about forward passes is if you look at the game of touch footy now, compared to 10 years ago, there's probably double the amount of forward pass penalties. Now, ask yourself, do you think that's because there's double the amount of forward passes in the game? Or do you think the referees are more strict or focused on identifying these forward passes? I think it's the second. I think it's the referees in recent years have focused a lot more on the forward pass than in previous years. And the reason I think that is because of the accessibility to live stream games. Like there's so much touch football you can watch online now. And what that provides is, for some reason, a lot of people love critiquing the referees in comments. Like even in my videos, like there could be an analysis or a breakdown of a certain play, and I'll get a few comments in the comments section that are just about forward passes off the ruck that are 3 touches before the actual play itself that have nothing to do with the video. So people love identifying mistakes of referees. And something that I always hear about with forward passes, because it's probably the most common, as along with get them on side, it's probably the most common sort of complained aspect amongst players, coaches, towards the referees. And one I hear a lot is, how can that be a backwards pass if they've thrown it from behind the try line, he's caught it in front of the try line? I hear that so much. If you've heard that, let us know. If you haven't, never heard that, I'm shocked. Okay, but so I want to show you this clip from Total Rugby. Check out their channel. It's got a couple of good videos in this one in particular of a forward pass that I want to be very clear. Forward pass is not in relation to the ground. So you can forget about the lines. So looking at this clip now, like that's a pass. And you would never in your right mind think that that was forward. All right. If we slow it down, you can see that the support player isn't even in screen. There he is now. The support player is probably 5 meters behind. Okay. And he doesn't have to speed up. The ball you can see is behind the person that passed the ball. Great pass. Okay, I wouldn't even call that flat. I'd call that a backwards pass by a couple of meters. Okay, and I'm sure without lines, everyone looking at that would agree that that's a good pass. Let's add the lines in now. Let's see what happens with the footy. It's coming. Here it comes. There's the exact same clip, but with the lines. Now, you may have noticed that the ball actually went forward in relation to the lines. And this is the exact same clip. There's the exit. You can see it there. The exit is on this line, and it goes forward 2 lines. Now, if you're using the logic of the lines dictating whether or not that's a forward pass, like it's going to be almost impossible to throw a backwards pass on the run. That just means the faster you go, the harder you have to propel that ball backwards. And there's another clip coming up. Oh, here's just the clip again. Let's pause there. It's a good pause. There you go. So let's have a look at this second clip. So obviously no one in their right mind would think that that's a forward pass. He's literally thrown it backwards over his head and it's been caught by someone that's directly behind him. But let's have a look at this again according to the lines. So if you are dictating forward passes or judging forward passes in relation to a line, in particular the try line, because that's where you see a lot of long passes, then you're saying that that is a forward pass as well, which I'm going to use the word ludicrous, because there's no way, if you wanted to try and tell me that that's a forward pass, you would not be able to convince anyone. And that's just something that I want to talk about forward. Like, they're not throwing the pass forward. The ball just travels forward because they're running forward. Like, that's the most important part out of this. All right. I always say if you throw the ball forward, the ball would have to leave your hands faster than what you're running, which means the ball for a split point, you can see the ball straight away. I don't know if you can see it, you can't see the mouse, but straight away the ball is behind him. If he throws that forward, the ball would be on the other side of him because he's projected it forward, which would be if he's running 20 kilometers an hour and he throws the ball forward 5 kilometers an hour, you have the 5 kilometers an hour added on to the 20 kilometers an hour the ball was already going before he passed it. Okay, so again, I'm going to have this link to this video, Total Rugby Forward Pass. That's all you need to search on YouTube, and they do an explanation, and it's in a rugby style, so you see some examples with rugby, but it's for this, it's for rugby league and touch football. You could all probably benefit from watching this video because yeah, it's one part of our game that everyone's sort of got different opinions on how to judge a forward pass. And in Australia, in the 7th edition rules, it was actually written really well about what constituted a forward pass. Fast forward to the 8th edition, it just says that the ball cannot travel forward out of the hands, which is true. But I think I'll find the old terminology and I'll post it up. And I think that is a really good way that it was written. But while we're at the end of the video, my opinion on referees focusing more on this on this part of the game. Traditionally, we have one center ref, which is directly in front of the play the ball, or usually to the side to get a better look. And then you have two sideline referees that are controlling the 7. I guess years ago when they made this model that shooters were very important and we didn't want to rely on the middle refs' peripheral vision to make sure the links on either side. So they're helping with the 7 meters, which in that case, on the run, there's no one in line with the ruck to judge these little tiny and a pop pass off the ruck is only in the air for probably a third of a second. So there's an absolute tiny window to see and react whether or not they're forward. Now, if you're directly in line and you're making that call and you have two sideline refs that are in line with the 7, no one's actually in a clear line. So it means you're guessing. Fair enough. If a referee is in line with it, which is normally where they are in a try scoring situation, they're in line with the pass. Perfect. We've got eyes on the pass, but on the run, in the midfield, if you start guessing at these forward passes, guessing never equals consistency. And I don't know if that's a better trade than just allowing those split-second measly forward passes off the ruck, which really you don't gain too much advantage of. Okay, when you think about it, what do you gain off that pass as opposed to one that goes a foot backwards? Like there's a foot difference. You're on the run. Nothing's really happening. The set would play out the exact same way. And I'm just worried that now by guessing, we might get 50 or even 60% of those. But if you get half of those, it means you miss half of those. And if you get 50% of the forward passes in one game, and there was 8 penalties for forward passes, that could be 7 penalties against Team A and 1 penalty against Team B when they've actually infringed the exact same amount. So one team is actually getting punished more than the other team when they've infringed the exact same. And that's why I'm not so much worried, but I guess you could say slightly concerned of going down the guessing path. So if you are part of a referees association or a referee coach or something, and you're actually working on ways in which maybe one referee can do the 7 and one referee that's going to be in line with the ruck to help that, great. Let us know in the comments on how that's improving, just because right now I'm a little bit confused on where the referees are going in the future. Because the last thing we want is we're seeing a nice flowy game and then turnover. Because the game just stops. And if I'm trying to tell my mate Dave, who never watches touch football, doesn't really find it that interesting, and I'm trying to convince him that this is the greatest game in the world. I want him to see end to end to end to end, no absolute minimal stoppages, and as much highlights as we can get. So if we're, I'd say nitpicking. I don't like to. I've never bashed a referee on here, and I'm not saying that. I'm just hoping that there's a solution to this. I actually don't know the solution. It's one of those conundrums where someone can see a potential problem but can't find a solution. So now I'm offering the opportunity for people to really message me in the comments, have a read in the comments about what you think we can do as a sport to make this more consistent. If it's as simple as dropping the far side referee back, because if you sub to this side, you can drop the other side back because they're not going to be shooting on that side, let us know, because right now that's just what I know. So, but yeah, share that video around. That really needs to be seen by everyone. You don't have to share mine, share the Total Rugby one. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next video.